తొమ్మిదవ నిజాంగా ఎన్నికైన సెలెక్ట్ అయిన రౌనక్ యార్ఖాన్ మన V5 న్యూస్ స్టూడియోలో ఉన్నారు.
So I'm now the ninth Nizam of the Asif Jahi dynasty. Asif Jahi is that particular family. They're named as Asif Jahs.
Okay.
Asif Jahis.
Means where is this? You told me 4,500 people around.
Right.
So where are they all?
They all, when people come to collect money, they have to show a card. Otherwise, anybody will come and stand in queue and say, I'm a relative of the Nizam and collect money. So now,
Are you the president of society?
the people who chose me, Osman Ali Khan, who was a ruler when India took over.
Okay, who is the Muhammad Ajmat Ali Khan? Ajmat Ali Khan argument. What is his argument?
Father never was a king. He was only a titular king. So I was operating from Mrs. Renuka Chaudhary's house on Wellington Crescent Road in Delhi. The immediate common compound wall was with the traffic headquarters on Wellington Crescent Road. So I used to go and train the police, go with them, walk. For 11 years I did that on my own money. So people thought I'd gone mad.
Have you find any properties to fight with the government?
It's still going on in court. There's one 404 which my cousin has put in there. Put it against Falaknuma, Chowmahalla and Purani Haveli.
హాయ్ హలో నమస్తే. ఇప్పుడు మనం స్పెషల్ గెస్ట్తో ఉన్నాం. తొమ్మిదవ నిజాం పైన ఆసక్తికర వ్యాఖ్యలు, ఒక కాంట్రవర్సీ జరుగుతున్న నేపథ్యంలో తొమ్మిదవ నిజాంగా ఎన్నికైన సెలెక్ట్ అయిన రౌనక్ యార్ఖాన్ మన V5 న్యూస్ స్టూడియోలో ఉన్నారు. ఇంతకీ తను ఎందుకు ఎలా కాల్ఫర్ చేశారు, తను తొమ్మిదవ నిజాంగా ప్రకటించిన నేపథ్యంలో తనతో స్పెషల్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ V5 న్యూస్ తీసుకుంటుంది. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. సార్, హౌ ఆర్ యూ సార్?
I'm good, thank you.
సో హౌ ఈజ్ యువర్ హెల్త్ అండ్
Health is fine. The weather is nice, so feel good.
ఓకే, వెల్కమ్ టు అవర్ స్టూడియో. ఆర్ యూ అఫీషియల్లీ అనౌన్స్డ్ యాజ్ ఏ నైన్త్ నిజాం?
Yes, officially, because we come from a Muslim family. In those families, there is no such thing as, some automatic succession.
Okay.
Either a king decides. Now there is no king. From 1971, even the title of a king is over. From 1948 itself, there is no king. In 1948, seventh Nizam, Osman Ali Khan's time, the Indian army came and took over Hyderabad. So there is no king from that time.
Okay.
So now the family is there, a big large section of my family. And due to having no king, they've nominated me. They, by consensus, by all of them getting together, they decided to have me as the head of the family. So
Okay.
I'm now the ninth Nizam of the Asif Jahi dynasty. Asif Jahi is that particular family. They're named as Asif Jahs.
Okay.
Asif Jahis. And families called dynasty. Royal families are called dynasties. So now I'm the ninth Nizam of the Asif Jahi dynasty because everybody signed the papers. And there are about 2,000 people who signed it, out of which I've got records of
How many
proper-
people signed?
about 1,800, 1,900.
Oh.
See, 4,500 agreed. And 4,500 are card holders. Card holders, they are certified as royal family. So the oldest person has a card. His children are automatically my supporters. So if you count that, they are like 15,000 people from one section. Then the last Nizam, he had about some 34 children.
34 children.
Yeah, they all died. Now the grandchildren are there. So out of 120 grandchildren, I've got the support of about 90 there.
Okay.
So 90 have signed papers. And about 60 of them are comfortable coming out in public, in the press and all that to support me everywhere. Remaining 20, 30, they're saying only in court cases where there's some benefit of land, we're winning something, use our papers in the court. But don't publicize them here and there. We don't want to be, seen everywhere like as part of some controversy or taking some one side or the other. So, and they're comfortable because they know if they're family, I'm fighting for them. if I win something, if I win a property, everybody benefits.
Everybody
Whoever the children
benefits.
will get. So even they sign or doesn't sign doesn't matter.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
just lucky that about 90%, 90 of them out of 120 of that level of family.
When you have been declared.
They've chosen me, and they have children. They have another 100 children maybe.
Okay.
So those children also now I have to get them to sign. Slowly they're coming forward. This only happened about a year and a half ago.
Means where is this? You told me 4,500 people around.
Right.
So where are they all?
They're all near Charminar, mostly near Charminar.
In Hyderabad only?
In Hyderabad, but not maybe about 1,000 of them live in some other cities or America or abroad. But about 2,800, I think, 2,800 of those card holders of a certain trust. Nizam had many trusts, like some trust he had made. You know the word trust, like they make a organization which has certain amount of money, and it gives out that money for education or something. Depends. So this particular trust is for the best recorded trust is for the members of his male family. He has one sum amount kept there, which disburses funds to these people. So when people come to collect money, they have to show a card. Otherwise, anybody will come and stand in queue and say, I'm a relative of the Nizam and collect money.
Oh.
So they scrutinize that person. There's a law system. They have lawyers and all that to check on them. And they decide if this person is from the family or not. So they have given out about 4,500 cards, out of which maybe 100 can be, given wrong. But the remaining are there. So they, by and large, they are represented by a society called Majlis-e-Sahibzadegan. So they, as a society, kind of chose me in agreement. But what I did later on is, tomorrow if you have to go to court, I believe that just a society is not enough. You can't have a society, saying we are representing all of India, for example. And then, and expect that it means that if I'm representing India, that doesn't mean that the whole of India is agreeable to me, just because I'm the society. I'm the president of the society. So I had to now.
Are you the president of society now?
No, me, not at all. The people who chose me,
okay,
they are the society. Society is, what is a society? It has to be people, right?
Yeah.
So there's a president, vice president, general, whatever, secretary and a few people. They've chosen me already. So now what I did is, apparently that is not valid in court. So I had to go and take letters. So I took about 1,800, 900 letters from everyone. Then I found out that letters are not enough because the people have to be identified and notarized. And they have to show their card, their identity, to show that they are from the royal family. So again, I had to do all that, and I got everything notarized. So that was a process which took me is taking me even now, going on taking time, is taken 8 months now. It's ongoing. Somebody dies also, immediately he leaves behind 4 or 5 children. Then I have to again go and take the signatures. Though automatically they are my supporters, but I need signatures to represent them in court. Because just by saying something is not enough. In a court, there's a process. The paper has to be notarized in front of a proper gazetted officer. And then you have to show your Aadhaar card, you have to show your, the Nizam trust card and all that. There's a process behind it.
Okay, who is the Muhammad Azmat Ali Khan?
Azmat Ali Khan was is the son of the previous Nizam, who was the 8th Nizam.
8th Nizam.
8th Nizam. See, the 8th Nizam himself was titular. Titular means only name for the sake of the name. The 7th Nizam was a person ruling till 1948. 1948, Indian Army defeated him. And then by 1950, he signed the accord to join India. So after that, the princely state of Hyderabad ceased to be. There was no more Hyderabad in 1948. Then in 1967, that time the ruler, he decided on his grandson. He jumped his 2 children. The last person who passed away, the 8th Nizam, was a grandson, not the son of the ruler. The ruler omitted his sons. He sidelined his sons and he chose his grandson. So the grandson was supposed to be the Nizam, but he never ruled, because by that time, 1948, it became India. Okay, the ruling Nizam died in 1967. By 1967, everything was completely India. So you can't possibly be a Nizam. But he was by namesake. Out of respect, they used to have before his name, they used to call him Nizam. But in 1967, his aunt Ahmadunnisa, she filed a case against the Union of India because they said that he can be the Nizam. So the High Court division bench, they said no, he's an ordinary citizen because he's part of India now. And all Muslims in India are governed by the Indian law. And the Indian law applicable to Muslims is Sharia, is the personal law. So you can't escape that. That's applicable to every Indian. when we are all Indians now. There's nobody no king. After 1948 and 50, there's no king. So you can't say we will follow a different system. All kings are,
Yes.
they become Indians. They no more rule. So they already, the grandson, Mukarramja, who was considered the eighth, who was a titular king, he already, the court decided that he has to share everything with his, whatever is, unless it's exceptional by some particular exceptional case, all properties, everything has to be divided with the rest of the family. Rest of the family, just like any other ordinary citizen of India. So that was declared. In 67, 68, that was declared. It's reported also in 1969, AP, Andhra Pradesh, AIR is All India Reporter, Ahmadunisa versus Union of India. 1969, you can find that. I mean, if I'm saying it slowly, so anybody is interested, they can actually Google it, you can get it. In 2 minutes, you can do it on your phone. So that it was clear that the whole, the king thing was over. By 1971, the government of India declared all kings, all rulers, you can't even say kings because there are no kings. They've all already overthrown, that become part of India. But before they named, they already had some highness or something. His Highness or some, like they were considered some kind of a king by name. Even that was abolished in 1971, called abolition of titles and privy purses. Privy purses was some amount that was given to them for their livelihood. The government, central government decided to completely abolish all that and treat them like ordinary citizens. Except for some trusts he had made, and he made an agreement with the government to not to disturb the trust, that those trusts got accepted as part of the constitution, so they are safe. But the rest of everything, whatever is outside the trust, was governed by the Muslim law now, like Indian law. Indian law, you can't say Muslim law. Indian law applicable to Muslim is Sharia. There's a separate law, like personal law for Muslim. So it became like that. So from 1971 itself, there is no Nizam. From 1948, no Hyderabad. So there's no such thing as Nizam of Hyderabad. You get my point? If somebody is to succeed that title, if Azman Jah is to get that title, he has to get it from his father. His father's title is Nizam of Hyderabad. You get my point?
Yeah.
So if there's no Nizam and no Hyderabad, what can he get? And in that thing, that declaration, in abolition of titles, it was clear that nobody.
What is his argument?
Nobody can be the king anymore, and neither can he have a successor.
Okay.
So that Nizam of Hyderabad is gone, and all he can get from his father is father's title. If the father's title doesn't exist, what can he get? You get my point?
Yeah.
So it's all dissolved. The whole thing is gone and gone forever.
Okay.
And
Ajmat Ali Khan argument. What is his argument?
His argument is nothing, that he is father's son. That's all. Now, if your father is not a king, father never was a king. He was only a titular king. In 71, even the title is gone. So how can you succeed? You can't say I'm his son. Actually, his father himself was not a son. He was a grandson. So it is not even automatic. You get my point?
Yeah.
So the argument is pretty hollow. And the next person, who can decide? The family. Because now India is a democracy. The families become democratic. And in Islam, there's only ijma. Ijma is the word they use for consensus. That's the only thing they promote. Okay, but that, like if there's a king who's very powerful, he'll come and conquer you. That time ijma won't work. Okay. Suppose we are a family, we are trying to do, be democratic. It's no use. If your neighbor is more powerful, he comes and kills us. So in that case, nobody can help anything. Because how did these people, Asif Jahs come here? Asif Jah is the Nizam's family. They came here with Aurangzeb. They conquered Golconda. Golconda is a Qutub Shahi kings. They never got a chance to name their son or grandson or anything. They just got conquered. Once you're conquered, you're finished. And who did they come with? The Asif Jahs, the Nizams came with Aurangzeb. Now Aurangzeb had already killed his elder brother Dara Shikoh. He killed another brother and he jailed his father. But he's a proper regular king. Because in kings there's no rule. There's no holds barred. Anybody who wins gets the seat, gets the seat. So that is the history of the rulers to begin with. How Hyderabad began. It began with, the Nizams didn't start it. The Qutub Shahi started it. Charminar was built by them. So they named Hyderabad. Much before the Nizams. The Nizams came later. They conquered and took over Hyderabad. So before that, and these people themselves, if you see the history, what we follow is as the best example is the Prophet. Now the Prophet, when he passed away, his successor was Abu Bakr Siddiqui. Okay, and Abu Bakr Siddiqui Rahmatullah alayh, he became the successor. And that was through this thing, Ijma. Ijma is consensus. People made him. Then there were two other leaders, Khalifas they are called. They are also by consensus.
Okay.
Consensus is the public gets together. Maybe not exactly number of public is not important because one group can be weak and one smaller group can be more powerful. So usually the heads, the powerful heads of tribes and all that, they get together. The important people who matter, they get together and they decide on something. That's called Ijma. So, and the Nizams, the Asif Jahs are descendants of the first successor, Abu Bakr Siddiqui. So they follow that example of consensus to begin with. And the Nizam, that way, if you see the Prophet, he had a daughter. And the biggest, the most important bloodline in Muslims are the descendants of the Prophet. That's a direct genetic connection. That connection is only through a daughter, because he had 3 sons apparently, they passed away before they reached puberty. So the only children he has, his bloodline, is through a daughter.
Okay.
So daughters are important in Islam. You can't just discard them, because if you actually see it, it's the whole example is through a daughter. You can actually say daughters are more important. But actually, there's no such thing as daughter son. It's like called gender neutral. That religion is gender neutral, which I'm very proud. And the first Nizam, his name was Khamruddin. When he died, he had named his daughter Khairunisa's son Muzaffar as a successor.
Okay.
In all the history books, you see, M.A. Naeem, Gibbels, many books you read. You pick up any book, they all mention that the first founder of the dynasty, Khamruddin, he had named his grandson. And the grandson was born through his daughter Khairunisa, though he had 6 sons. The founder had 6 sons. And out of which one I have not heard much about. The remaining 5 are very, very successful. One of them was a prime minister of the Mughals, which is probably more important than the Nizam also. Because Nizam is only this thing, viceroy. They were not kings in the beginning. They were viceroys of the Deccan. The viceroy is just Deccan is just a region. If you're the Mughals prime minister, you're almost half of India. You're dominating half of India. So his name was Ghazi, the eldest son of the founder. But the moment the founder died, his second son, his name was Nasir Jang. He was already in jail because he tried to overthrow his father. So his father put him in jail. But when his father died, he was in the vicinity. So he immediately took control before the grandson could come.
Okay.
And the grandson Muzaffar, he was the governor of Adoni and Bijapur or something. So by the time he came here, the Nizam's second son was sitting on the throne. So this guy, he managed to get the forces together at Ijma again. He got consensus because people knew that he was a favorite of the founder. So he got some people together and he overthrew his uncle. The second son of the Nizam, Nasir Jang, was killed by them. Killed by the grandson. But the people who supported the grandson, they got angry because he took the help of the French. And, the second son of the Nizam, he took immediately the British tried to help him, because that time the British and French were trying to, fight for, superiority out there. But the French won. And they put that grandson as the next king. So what happened is he started, tilting towards the French, giving them benefits. So 2 of his old supporters, they were now Nawabs of Kadapa and Kurnool. They managed to, get into some, conflict with him, and he got killed. Immediately, the French killed the killers also. Those Nawabs were killed. And the French, they placed they placed Salabat, who was the 3rd son of the Nizam, on the throne. So all these, the second son, the grandson, and Salabat, they were all put there by the French, who were foreign powers. And the Mughals had become very weak. Okay. So the Mughals never gave them titles. These guys never vied for titles. But Salabat ruled for 11 years. The 3rd son of the Nizam, who's not counted as a Nizam because he doesn't have the same title. He ruled for 11 years. That means he was a monarch. Monarch means independent king. Yeah. Because that's what counts. He's a son. He's part of the dynasty. He's ruling. And, he's not working for the Mughals. So that means he's clearly 11 years means he's straight away he's a king. Whereas all the other people, the first Nizam, he's a Subedar. Subedar is viceroy. He's working for the Mughals. Then by that time, the 5th son, who managed to kill his previous brother, he managed to kill Salabat in jail. And the 5th son's mother, she killed the oldest son, Ghazi. She killed the oldest son of the founder. And that 5th son, the 5th person, if you're counting the Nizam, he's the 5th guy on the seat. He got the title of Asif Jah II. They skipped 3 people in the middle. The name was Nizam 1. That time Nizam 1 probably was not Nizam 1, because why will he say 1 when he's the only person? After the 5th guy comes and the 6th guy comes. The 6th guy was Sikandar Jah. after which Sikandrabad is named. So then they must have started putting numbers. Sikandar became third, so his father became second, Nizam Ali Khan became second, and Nizam Ali Khan is a name, it's not, Nizam is not the same as Nizam al Mulk. The title is Nizam al Mulk. So his father was the founder, Khamruddin. So they started, counting Khamruddin as one, two as the fifth guy, and three as the Sikandar. Okay, then it was downward till like it came to the end. Like the Nizam seventh, he was the last ruler, and he jumped his children and he named Mukarram.
Okay.
Named Mukarram. He died on 14th January 2023. Whose son Azmat is. Now Azmat, I've discovered, like not me, my family discovered. That's why they chose me. We also thinking if Azmat stays here, he can rule. Not rule like he can be the head of the family, whatever. We needed something like that. So what happened is Azmat himself filed cases against his own father. He filed a case called OP 147 of 1999, where he's clearly under oath. He said that his father is unfit to be the ruler or something. He'll bring bad name to the dynasty. He's in whatever debt and all that. All that is on record. I don't want to say it because I don't know if I can be talking about something. This is what my family said. That's why they put pressure on me to choose me. Because previously also they came to me, even when Mukarram Sahab was the eighth Nizam. Mukarram was around. They came to choose me because they thought he's getting old and they want someone in Hyderabad to look after them. So I thought that's a joke once upon a time. How can you replace somebody have grown up knowing he's a Nizam, and they wanted me to replace. But then we tried for Azmat, and then they found out that Azmat had said these bad things about the father.
Okay.
And then he filed another case where he wanted something from his father which he was supposed to get after his father's death, but he was already fighting for it. So they felt anyone who's not even sparing his own father cannot be bothered with them because he doesn't live here. Mukarram himself did not come here for 12 to 14 years. He didn't come to India. And he left everything. When they showed him a place in Australia, he was admiring it, big piece of land. So somebody asked him, do you like it? Because he was obviously appreciating it. So he said, I love it. There's not a bloody Indian in sight. So I don't know if I should say this, but that's in a book called, it's already in print. The book is called The Last Nizam. Actually, it should have been titular Nizam. It's not even Nizam. So he said that in the book. So I thought maybe he's joking. Maybe he's joking that not a bloody Indian inside. Why will he hate Indian? Then I realized he's probably not joking because he actually left India. He left India completely, went off to Australia. Now, which person whose family has ruled somewhere for 223 years will just leave everything and just go off to a strange country? So he actually didn't want to be here. He has some resentment against India. So the family kind of started talking about all this. And they said, we don't want to have anyone outside. They want someone local. So they kind of chose me because I've already, I've been playing Holi. I organized Holi parties for the last 45 years in the name of Mahbub Ali Khan, who was the sixth king. He used to go to temples. Hindus think he's a saint. And many people, this thing, Nightingale of India, what is her name? Sarojini Naidu. She mentioned that the Hindus consider him a saint in two of her letters, in the book called The Untold Charminar by some Sayyida Imam. The letters of Sarojini Naidu clearly say that the Hindus considered him a saint. So I used to have these holy parties to have that brotherhood between communities. That's why I got a PhD in inter-community bridging also.
Where did you study?
In Hyderabad Public School.
Only.
Again,
In which school?
In Hyderabad Public School. Again, that is being gifted. The land property was given by the personal property of my great-grandmother, Jahandar Unisa, whose husband built that Falaknuma.
Okay.
Falaknuma was built by a husband called Sir Vikhar, who gifted it to his brother-in-law, who's Mahbub Ali Khan. College, I went to New Science College, which I hardly kind of went. After, but between that college itself, I started attending some courses in fiberglass in IIT, Madras Guindy. In fiberglass, it's called Glass Fiber Reinforced Plastic Technology, GFRP.
Okay.
So, what we see in the helmets and all. But general term is fiberglass. Actually, it is GFRP. So I started studying that. So anyway, I completed the history of this. And up to the point, I told you about the Mughals. Then it was Sikandar. After that, it was another two kings. And then it became Afzal Ad-Daula, who was the fifth king. Please write this. This is important. During the time of the fifth king, his boss was this one, Bahadur Shah Zafar. Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was a Mughal. Now the British exiled him in 1857. There was a rebellion, and 1858, I think he got exiled to Rangoon. The Mughal king got exiled to Rangoon. So automatically the Nizams had no one to head them. I mean, they didn't have anyone superior controlling them because the boss itself got exiled. So he became independent. Afzal-ud-Daula, the fifth Nizam of Hyderabad, who was a Subidar of the Mughals, suddenly became independent. He became a monarch. After that, Mehboob Ali Khan, who was the sixth Nizam, he was born in a monarchy because his father had already become a monarch and he died as a monarch. He's my great grandfather.
Okay.
And then after that, his son is the seventh Nizam, who was the last ruler, actual ruler of Hyderabad. That actual ruler was a monarch to some time. But last 19 years of his life, he was an Indian citizen, in which I think 6-7 years he was a governor. But then he was still the Indian citizen. So that rulership got over right then. So you asked me a question about Azmat. So Azmat, the whole thing got terminated in 71. There's no more nothing, no more dynasty. Now the question you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you. The next question is, how am I the Nizam? So what happened is, this family didn't have a head for a long time. Their properties are scattered. There was no cohesion. There was no, how do you say? There's no, they were not united. And the Nizams were trying to say that everything belongs to them only, which is not true, because once you're Indian, you have to divide everything. They were not dividing. They were still pretending that king to king, it has to go on from father to son. Because after India, we have to now divide it with everyone, just like a family, just like a Muslim family. And in Muslim family, suppose you and me are brothers, we get equal share. But suppose we are born in a king's family, if you become the king, that means if I don't kill you or somebody doesn't kill you, or if you're not retarded and I'm smart, I become, or your father chooses to make somebody else. Even the king wants to make someone else, he has to be strong to make someone else. Like the first king wanted his grandson, he couldn't make. The grandson had to fight again.
Okay.
He managed to do it on his own. Okay, so anybody who is not powerful can't hold on. If a father makes a son also a king, son is not powerful, the other son will take over.
Okay.
You get my point? So all this dynasty had completely crumbled in 1971. The whole thing closed down. So now what the family did is, I told you, they were trying to still say that all the properties belong to them. Which is, in some cases it might be true, because in some cases where you're gifted something and all that, it becomes yours. But the remaining everything belongs to everyone. Belongs to the rest of the family, but they're still pretending that everything belongs to them because they're very powerful. And all the family, there's a lot of family out here, 4,500 people I told you, they belong to, this trust. One trust itself, there must be many, many more who are not listed. Okay, just one trust, which the Nizam created with some fund for a purpose. That has those many people, but they're on record.
Okay.
They have a certificate. Otherwise, there are many people roaming around and just say they are king's family. You can't believe or disbelieve. So, all those people now, there was no compatibility between them. So finally, they have now, again got together to fight for the rights. The government was, making them lose the paper, lose the properties. You get my point? Nizam was, the government was not sympathetic. So now they got me to look after all their properties, get them back from the, get them together, get them from the government, get them from the earlier or the continuous royal family, which is claiming to be a single owner. Okay, and I was saying, like, suppose you and me are brothers. In Islam, we are equal. But if nobody disturbs you, drifted from there, that you will become king. If you become king, you control everything.
Okay.
You don't divide it with a younger brother might get 1 or 2 palaces, but the whole country or whatever, the state becomes yours. Why they did that is because if they get divided, suppose it's the size of, country the size of Telangana. It'll reduce. It'll become Hyderabad, then it'll become smaller, it'll become just Chintal Basti, then it'll become only Jubilee Hills. You'll lose everything. Then again, some person like Aurangzeb will come with another Nizam. They'll take over. So one brother defends everything. But he's doing it in trust for the rest of them. Meaning as a responsible person for the rest of the family. It's not entirely his. So when it's like a company. You are the chairman of the company as a Nizam. So if the company folds up, everything is not yours. Something you have to give back, right, to the family. So now the family is demanding that thing back. Saying it, because the Nizam did not earn anything on his own. It came because it's a dynasty. Because they are part of the dynasty, they are saying redivide it again. So I am representing them. And those guys are all from 1 to 6 Nizam. There's one group. It happened to become like that because they all belong to a trust. Then there's a 7th Nizam, Osman Ali Khan, who was a ruler when India took over. So once India took over, the children of the 7th Nizam, the descendants, they are saying now you have to divide it. One guy cannot get it now. It has to be divided. But they're saying now that all the property came to the 7th Nizam, it has to be divided only to the 7th Nizam's descendants, not to the previous ones. But I'm representing the previous ones also. Not only 1 or 2, 4,500. And their children, if you include, they'll be like 15,000, 20,000. So I'm representing them. It's a big job. It's very confusing, but I'm doing it because they really need it. And everybody's saying this then, it's very difficult to, get the thing for somebody who's like, the descendants of the second, third, fourth Nizam, it's like they're all scattered. It'll become never ending. Don't touch that. But my loyalty is towards them because they're really needy and they're the ones who first got this idea about choosing me as the Nizam. So now what happened, something very funny has happened. Now the seventh Nizam's children, there were about 34 of them. Now 34 of them are all no more. They all passed away. So they have about 100 and those children of the Nizam have about 120 children. Now in that 120 children, about 90 of them have signed me as their Nizam. With a certain, percentage also. They said, if you win, you can take this much from us and all that. They made me a shareholder in every individual property. They made me a shareholder. I don't need it. I'm a bachelor. But they're also realizing I'm a bachelor. So they're very comfortable. They know I can't take it anywhere. Yeah. And they know when I die, I'll probably leave something behind for them.
Yes.
So I won't be tempted because I don't have children to die. But because whoever they chose before for any small project or to fight for any land, that person was looking for his own benefit. He actually sold the family out. He would file a case and then tell the opposition that you have to divide it to 500 people. But he would tell them, you give me a share of 10 people, I'll move off.
Yes.
So he gets 10 times more. Those 500 people remain the same. He's making money in the middle. So that has happened with them. So they chose me now because of my reputation. I never bothered about money. I've always been comfortable. I never worked. Only 11 years in Delhi. I worked as a traffic advisor for Delhi police. 11 years.
Traffic advisor.
Traffic advisor for Delhi police.
Years.
Yeah. 11 years I did that, walking on the road, checking the roads because, bikes skid on the diesel oil. So children are dying. Motorcycles mostly used by college-going kids to drive fast. They were dying. Police was picking up the dead bodies, and again within 3 days there's one more death. Nobody was bothering to find out. So I was operating from Mrs. Renuka Chaudhary's house on Wellington Crescent Road in Delhi. The immediate common compound wall was with the traffic headquarters on Wellington Crescent Road. So I used to go and train the police, go with them, walk. For 11 years I did that on my own money. So people thought I'd gone mad. And I had to lie to people that I was making money because they thought if I'm paying from my pocket, because already they thought I'm crazy because I'm leaving everything here. And I used to live in a small apartment, it was built above the 3-car garage. 3-car garage you can make out. Each car is like 8 feet, 24 feet, area. 24 by 24 feet section, constructed section I was staying. So I had literally you must have heard of that movie Rangastalam. It's made at Bhoot Bangla. That's my place.
Yeah, by becoming the 9th Nizam.
Right.
So what are the benefit? What are the responsibilities?
That's exactly what I'm saying, sir. Yeah. I was doing it for no benefit. Just now I said that, you asked me the question.
Have you got any properties and all these things?
We have a lot of properties. Every week somebody comes with a property. Many properties, the names have changed, so it's confusing. And Hyderabad extended from Maharashtra to Karnataka.
Yes.
It was like some 89,000 square miles or so. 89,000 square miles is more than a country like England and Scotland put together. Bigger than Germany. So people think Hyderabad is a city.
Okay.
Hyderabad is like almost like the size of a country. And like Bidar and all that in Karnataka is Hyderabad.
Yeah.
And Aurangabad was the capital originally of Hyderabad. So till Aurangabad is all those Ellora, Ajanta caves and all that were in our area. My grandfather only formed a archaeology department to look after them.
Okay.
Until 1958, till Maharashtra was made, they used to look after those temples. And he appointed a man called Ghulam Yazdani from Iran, who was in charge of archaeology. So he looked after them. And he did a lot. Nawab Ali Khan was my great-grandfather. I'm a fan of his. Because in that 1908 floods and all that, have you heard of that? That Musi flood? Took some 20,000-30,000 people died, and he opened his houses out for 8 months to all the people, whoever wanted to come inside his private areas, wherever he wanted. He just go around crying. It became crazy. Even Sarojini Naidu wrote poetry about, Asif tears or something, about his crying, for his people. And he did a yagna. Yagna is a Hindu, this thing. You do it to please the gods. So Vishveshwaraya was present, and he did it under the, instructions of a priest, of a Hindu priest. He had to go into the water with that tray, with that, lit cans, whatever, with that candles and all that. And he had to perform that function in the water. Okay. So that was life-threatening. And he did that. That's a Hindu thing, and he was a Muslim guy. So Vishveshwaraya was a scientific man. He's the one who made Gandipet and all those. I mean, the Nawab Ali Khan appointed him originally to control the water so it doesn't, we don't get flooded again. But he made this Nizam Sagar and Hussain Sagar, whatever, not Himayat Sagar and all that. After the, the 6th Nizam passed away. It got constructed during the 7th time. But the man who started that was Nawab Ali Khan. Anyway, he was present when that yagna was there. And his, this thing, narration is that the water started receding. That water was not coming down. You know, it was flooding for days. So suddenly after the yagna, he says the water started coming down. So I'm not superstitious. I'm just probably saying it's a coincidence, because otherwise you'll think it's my grandfather. So I'm saying, you know, he controlled the water. So we shouldn't say that, because after that, if I say something superstitious, then everything will become like hazy. You know, they'll all think that everything I'm saying is just out of love and affection. So I'm trying to keep it very scientific for everything. So in his name, I have this parties for Holi, which I've been doing for 45 years without a single break. So even if I'm not in the country, I send the money here, so they have the party with this place, which
where
is
they celebrate.
from here. It is only 4 kilometers away.
4
Road number
kilometers.
25, Jubilee Hills.
Road number
25,
25
Jubilee Hills, dead end.
Okay.
Dead end, because my
Then how you will celebrate that?
we celebrate. We get colors. We
Any,
get everything
different way.
Different. Also, people bring bhang. I don't want to be part of it. I don't, because bhang is still a drug, I suppose. You can get picked up by the police, but in Hindu tradition, they have that. I mean,
Okay.
culturally, they've been having it. Bhang, they mix it in thandai and all that. Some people bring it in groups, because I don't serve it myself, but I serve everything else.
Okay.
Everything else, like, you know, people bring beers, like I pay for it, but people bring whatever they feel like. They bring it one day before and keep it. I pay it off for them, because you know, it's too much to understand what they want. So I let them bring whatever, but I pay for it.
Okay.
And usually I used to keep it only for foreigners, because foreigners, you know, if they come uninvited, there's a limit.
Yeah.
How many foreigners can they be? 80, 120, that's all.
Yeah.
But if you tell Hyderabadis to come, will they come? You know, they'll make a gang near their house.
Yeah. Thousands of.
Yeah, thousands will come, because alcohol is free, food is free. There were like foreigners playing. It's like fantastic music. There are 2-3 types of brands. You know, one of the local band is there. There's a DJ. There's everything.
You are now also continuing that?
We're continuing now. I've changed it slowly. And before that, I used to get foreigners. Now I'm thinking the Indian boys should come. And slowly, I'm trying to make them understand they can have fun without alcohol.
Only boys and or girls?
Boys and girls.
Mix.
Actually, there used to be more girls before, because somehow they feel like they have to do something. I don't know why. But guys, they were limited. Before that, there used to be more girls. So all the papers, they love it. They love like so many girls, you know, because otherwise, wherever you go in Hyderabad, they're boys. So the papers used to tell me from 2-3 days before. The newspapers used to start calling, saying, please inform us when it's happening.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing happening. Then about, I think, 8 to 10 years back, this Holi became like a business. People started getting a film star, you know, getting a sponsor, getting this, selling tickets. And then you buy, you can, you know, get to celebrate with some film star. You can take pictures. So you get, you know, like you have to buy a ticket for 4,000. And then you get to play with the, you know, like play Holi with some film star, take some pictures. So it became like a commercial activity. So one time, I remember, I think Times of India or Deccan Chronicle, they put my picture with this thing, event managers. So I said, how can you do that? You know, because I'm like a person who's spending from my pocket. From like years, it's a tradition. From bloody 40 years, 30 years, I'm doing it. You're putting me next to some event manager who's a commercial guy who will bloody make money and take it home. Here I'm paying from my pocket. So from next year, I thought, okay, now they've understood. Next year, my picture disappeared. Only those guys are there. So for that time I was very young, you know, commercially I don't think very fast commercially. Then I understood why. Because those Holi parties, they advertise. They advertise like crazy, you know, to try to attract people to their party. So they are putting ads which are 1 lakh, 2 lakhs or whatever. That's benefit to the paper. The paper has to survive. So they, in return, they write something nice about the person paying them. So they are priority compared to me. So when I objected, they threw me out.
Okay.
So it took me about 1 year to understand how come I'm not there, you know.
This year
How come they're there?
This year, are you going to celebrate?
Every year. I don't have the guts to miss 1 year, because then I'll have to explain what happened that year and all that. You know, then you can't say from 45 years I'm doing it, because then you have to say, but in you know, like 2013 I couldn't do it, then you have to explain. If you say I'm doing it continuously, it's a lie. So it's easier for me to have a party than explain why I didn't have a party that year.
Okay, after Delhi, just how did you come to Hyderabad?
I was from Hyderabad. I just went there, and Vijay Karan his grandfather was a governor of Hyderabad, who was a commissioner that time. Vijay Karan was a commissioner. He's a Raja. You know, this Dharam Karan Road and all that is named after the grandfather, who was a governor to my father, my grandfather was a Nizam. So when I went in there, he used to stand up and meet me. He wouldn't sit till I sat, because they are very traditional. They even wear those Hyderabadi clothes and all that. In their weddings, they wear more Hyderabadi clothes and follow more tradition than the Hyderabadis themselves, because they're very proud of that, the fact they were administrators of the Nizams. So I went there and I felt very thrilled, because just 2 years before that, like, you know, we didn't have enough like motorcycles between us in college. So there would be 3 people on a bike and only 2 are allowed. So if you see a policeman, one person had to get down. And then we used to drive past the policeman. That guy had to come walking and then again join us. Suddenly, next moment, you know, the police chief is standing up for me. So I started enjoying that role of mine, doing that. And I understood also, you know, those traffic signages, you know, there are thousands of them. and they all made very heavy, thinking a car will crash into them because they're on the road. What are the chances of a car crashing into the road sign? Road sign is like don't park, no parking, left side ahead, no turn, no horn. So there's no chance of a car going and hitting that pole. But as a precaution, they make the pole really thick, like 8 mm thick. 8 mm is really thick, the material itself is 8 mm. So it goes into crores. And no cars hit it, but when a car actually hits it, it'll still bend because nothing will, even 8 mm will not hold a car. So what I did is I started, and every time a pole gets destroyed, you have to dig it up from the ground. It's embedded in the cement. Then you have to take cement, then you have to set it, then you have to hold it till the cement dries. It's a whole 3-4 hours process. You have to go with a truck, cement, everything, reethi, kankar. So what I did is I started putting pipes everywhere inside the ground, which is little. The pipes are little bigger than the pipe of the pole. You get my point? So whenever some car hits it, which is 1 in 1,000 chance, you immediately go, remove it, you put a new pole, and I had a secret lock, which only the police knew. If you push something somewhere hidden, you just take it out. So it takes about 30-40 seconds to replace a sign. I did that. I did that, and I made all the signs standard, where whether it's a triangle or a circle, the holes are in the same place, so they fit onto the board correctly, irrespective of what shape it is. So I did many engineering kind of things which are very difficult to explain. And but I'm thrilled because I have that mind for engineering stuff. And I was, getting to meet Renuka Chaudhary madam, and who was my friend actually. I'm calling her madam because of TV, but I've known her since the time I was 18 years old or 17.
Okay.
She was
after working 11 years over there. Just how did you come? How?
My mother passed away. Achha, by that time I was having a big problem with the authorities there because the land belongs to the municipal corporation. The boards are of the police. So if you want to put a police board, you have to take the permission of the corporation. If you don't do it properly, they come and break the board. They don't even take it out. They just bloody break it. I said, what are you, why are you enjoying breaking something so beautiful? As to have that radium, it shines in the night and all that. You don't have the heart to break it. But those people used to break it saying it's illegal. But then you have to take the letter and show it to them. Then because they don't care about the police, because the land, that's controlled by IAS officers. MCD and DMC, municipal corporations are controlled by IAS officers. They feel they are superior to police. Now police feel they are superior because they have a lot of power. So I had to go to the president, prime minister to make them stop fighting. In the end, they gave me a letter as if I'm their father with no real law in it, just saying, you manage. Okay. You get my point? So I'm trying to manage the police and I'm managing this thing. Municipal corporation, IAS officers, one side. I did that job. For about 11 years, I did that. Then my parents passed away. Okay. They were creating trouble. Then somebody taught me, you keep tipping them. You keep them happy, you won't have a problem. Why are you fighting with them? So I understood that's brilliant, because if you don't fight with them, they already got trucks and all that. If one police sign falls down, I have to go with a truck. The municipal corporation trucks are moving on anyway. You tip them, in 2 minutes, they are replacing it. By the time I understood all that, my parents passed away. So I had to come back. So all that thing I learned in 10 years went to waste. So I'm still itching to do it again here, but I'm become too old and repeat the whole thing. Same thing is now happening. You ask me, okay, what is my job as a Nizam? Now I'm representing those people, 4,500 from 1 to 6 Nizam. And I'm representing the person who was the 7 Nizams children, descendants. Now they don't like each other because the 7 guys are saying, who the hell are they? Everything passed on to the 7th. 7 downwards is us. How can 6, 1 to 6 claim? Because they are already, they moved away, they are left behind. The whole properties came to the 7th. We should share it. How can the 6 get it? But the 6 are saying, it came down from us. We are part of the dynasty. So I'm in the middle. I'm representing both. I would have got really in a big mess. But my good luck is I thought of one thing. I said, you are saying your bit. And I'm this 1 to 7, the 7 Nizam descendants are saying what they want to say. You get my point? So my job is only to place it in front of the Indian law. Yes. Luckily, the Indian law is going to decide who's correct. I said, whoever's correct, why should you grudge the other person? Whoever's correct will win. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying the other side is right. So I was very lucky. Imagine if it was my job to say one of them is right, they would have killed me. So luckily for me, my job is only to place it in front of a judge and see what applies to them. Okay. So somehow they've, I've managed to pacify them. So exactly like in Delhi, in my life, I think there is God purposely puts in all these, gives me a lot of luxury, but they always put one question where there are 2 roads and you didn't know which to decide. So now this 1 to 7 Nizam and the 7 Nizam children is one. That way in Delhi also, we had that between the police and the municipal corporation, a continuous fight. Okay. Continuous fight on.
Have you find any properties to fight with the government?
We found some, sir. We found some. It's going on.
Now, did you find any
properties? We have found some, but we have just applied in court. It's still going on in court. There's one 404 which my cousin has put in there.
Can you say that survey numbers?
Survey, he's put it against the property. He's put it against Falaknuma, Chaumaila,
Mm.
and Purani Haveli,
Okay.
and some property in Ooty, I think, and some
Mm.
other place. These are the palaces.
Okay. Only
He's
palaces.
put them against palaces. I put them one case in some ground which belonged to the palace, which was sold, which I feel is illegal. Not only it's illegal in the family itself, it's illegal in the Indian law because they kind of undervalued the property. It's a complex thing, which I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay.
But that case of mine is still going on.
Mm.
Which turn it will take, we don't know because all subject is. No, I don't want to talk, and tomorrow I lose, I look silly. And while it's in court, I think there's no point saying this is right or that because that's why it's in court. No, the court decides. So I don't talk much about it. But we are locating properties.
Okay.
And we are locating properties, but they have to be even empty. Most of the properties are enclosed. There's 1,000 villagers living there. So even if you win, you can't do anything. You can't move them out. Even the land I'm living in now, my great grandmother, she had donated Hyderabad Public School.
Yeah.
Okay, Jahandar Nizam, she donated that from her personal pocket. Then her nephew, Usman Ali Khan, was a 7 Nizam, was a nephew. He built the school, but the property was hers. The opposite place, the Begumpet was a Paiga property belonging to her husband. That Paigas own about some 2,000-3,000 villages from here to Maharashtra. So that was her private property. So now she still owns 180 between the Hussain Sagar Lake and public school. 180 acres of land belong to her. It's still on paper, it's hers. Okay. But you can't find it because there are 1 million people living there. You can't get the army, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. I mean, how can you? I mean, even the court gives an order. The police says we don't have enough force to evict them.
Yes.
So something else. See, all these things are about law. I'm only 99% correct. 100% I can't be. I'm not a lawyer because I can't look into everything. But my family, whoever brings a case, sometimes they are perfect with that particular case. So I'm allowing them to fight. I'm just financing them.
Okay.
Okay, they are getting to fight. So that I'm doing. I'm paying them money and all that. So instead of me understanding, and I want to live my life. I've remained a bachelor to be free. Now suddenly burdened with all this, in my old age, I mean, all my life, this police thing I'm telling you is a voluntary thing I did about 25 years ago. From 25 years ago till now, I've not done anything. Suddenly imagine now I'm stuck with all this. So I don't want to get my life stuck, in the last years. How does it matter whether I get more or less? I'm a bachelor.
Do you have any clear properties personally, individual?
Personally, I have clear properties. We have a property opposite Begumpet police station. And that's a very large 1.5 acres area. One we've just finished building in Lakdi Kapul. It's another 1.5 acres. And it's called Nafis Plaza now.
Okay.
And in Begumpet, my own house, it's another 1.5 acres. My family house, my father and all. Then I moved to another house, which is again half an acre. That way we have a lot of properties.
Okay.
We have a lot of properties personally. And then
Personally,
about this famous property in Jubilee Hills.
Yeah.
We got talking about, like Deccan Chronicle wrote land baron alert, caption. They said this man is a billionaire because he owns 105 acres of land. So that's where that Rangasthalam movie and all that is made. I mean, many movies, even now there's a movie. But I remember that one name Rangasthalam, so I keep saying that, yeah. But that was a big 18-acre set. It was the biggest. And I remember because I was coming from Delhi and there was another man traveling. So I asked him why he's going to Hyderabad.
Okay.
So he said, I'm going to Hyderabad to see a film set. He was a film, this thing, what do you call it? Film set manager, or what is it called? The art manager.
Art man.
They're called something. They make sets and all that.
Sets. Yeah.
Huh?
Arts manager.
Arts manager or something. So he was coming all the way just to see that set. Because the set was so fantastic. So then I realized something special. And then it became like it was all on videos all the time. People, after the movie was over, they were going as a tourist attraction to see that place. Okay, and most these sets are built like only to face the camera. The camera facing side is well made. The back side is only just bamboo, cardboard, like meaningless. I mean, there's nothing there. It's just hollow because you're shooting only from the side which is visible to the lens, right? So, but this was made, everything was made, like a hut in a village, like the church and others made because maybe they were shooting all around the place. So that set was very complete, but it keeps catching fire all the time.
Okay, you have 100 of acres and 100 and 1,000 crores assets. Then after that, what are you planning?
After that, what I'm planning is right now I'm just trying for the properties. Maybe I have to make a trust. I have to put the money, and I have to get some lawyers to kind of make it into like some kind of a sensible thing that if I die tomorrow, and people die all the time. So something happens to me, that something should be, it should be taken care of, and how best it can be handled. Because some of these are also disputed. Because such a big land, nobody leaves it. Somebody will bring some false document, something or the other, they'll bribe someone, somehow they'll get an order. Once you get an order, you're stuck in a stay. If you're in a stay, you can't do anything. then they expect you to pay them off something. They'll actually lose. But by the time they lose, it takes 5 years. Another 5 years like that, I probably won't even be here. So they expect you to throw some money, but somehow we are born stubborn, because we are all comfortable. We are saying, okay, you want to act funny with us, we'll sit it out. So we are just holding the land, but we are enjoying it because we got the position. This land on 25 acre, road 25 is open. I go and enjoy it. I drive around. I made a hill out there. It's called the Raunaq's man-made hill. It's very famous. It's the highest place in Hyderabad now.
Okay.
Highest point. It's made on about 7 acres. So 7 acres in Jubilee itself is crazy because then you make a hill, the top gets smaller and smaller. And then it's unstable land. So you can't make anything more than 1 story because the land can sink and you get cracks. So you can only make a house of, light wood or something. So I've done that. So I just enjoy those kind of things, because in life, what do you want? I mean,
are you only enjoying? Are you doing any charities or any other programs?
We keep doing charity, like, festivals and all that. We keep doing, like I told you, Holi and all that. You can't call it a charity, but I spend a lot of money to make people. Sankranti, I do something. Holi, I do something. Then people are one-to-one also. If people are in trouble, then I do something. But people come and then they say we have a problem. So you don't even know if that person is lying. Is this really a problem? Or is fooling us? We don't know. So you can't really do it. So whoever comes and I know that person, and I know 80% the guy, person is speaking the truth, I go out and help that person. Okay. Anything that's going on, I feel somebody needs some help, he's doing a good thing, I pitch in. That's why I'm very popular. A lot of people, when they have some problem, they somehow get my number and call up and all that. Now today also I'm meeting those people, Ravi's friend, she's started an organization with 1,000 school principals or something. Some principal union. I'm meeting her immediately after this.
Okay.
So actually, after this, there's an art show. After that art show is that talk in Mohan Gurusamy Center. Think about this thing, Liberation Day, Telangana Liberation from the Nizam. So I'm going there. After that, there's a dinner by a bank. Then I'm meeting these people who I'm talking about. I'm saying immediately after. Therefore, so she wants me to be the head of that. So I asked Ravi straight away, okay, does she expect money from me straight away? But they immediately say money is a little worrying because you don't know them. So after you know them, you don't mind helping out. You yourself spot that they're a bit of trouble. You know exactly if you give this much. Like somebody's done 80% of the work.
Yeah.
You don't mind by 20, the 80% work also will, become like effective because of that 20%. Then you give them that because they get helped 100%. Otherwise, they paid 80, they're stuck. The 80 is also wasted. So just by 20, if I can save them, I will save them. But I will not go into 100% trying to help someone without knowing the subject. Because those subjects sometimes are completely new. And I don't have a fixed thing which I do. I keep doing different things. Whoever needs at that moment something, I try. Try to sort out the problem.
With your trust, what is the trust name?
I don't have a trust. I have a society.
Society.
I have a society where I have, is the Society for the Betterment of the Nizams 1 to 9. And that society consists of me as a president as a Nizam. Okay. And my vice president is Mr. S.K. Joshi.
S.K. Joshi.
S.K. Joshi is an IAS officer. He was the chief secretary. Chief secretary of combined AP and Telangana or Telangana.
Even other communities also are there.
Totally. This group has got about 19 members, out of which 13 are Hindu people.
Oh,
out of 19. So my family is getting confused. They're saying, how is it that everybody is Hindu? I said, you have to be grateful to them because the administrators, who's the vice president is Mr. S.K. Joshi. He's an administrator, IAS officer, chief secretary. And then it's Mr. Dinesh Reddy. Dinesh Reddy is DGP police. HOPF, head of police force.
Dinesh Reddy also is there.
Is there. And then Mr. Swaranjit Sen is there. He's Christian.
Swaranjit
Sen is Christian. He's DGP, HOPF, police. Okay, he's there. Then Santosh Mehra is there, DGP. And then this one is there. Mr. Anwar Huda is Muslim. He's DGP, police. Then Ajay Mishra is there. He's Home Secretary. He's again above the police. Then we have one Muslim priest also. Okay. And Mr. Baghdadi. You can't say Baghdadi. He's called Pir Baghdadi. And then there's one more called another very social person in Hyderabad. He mixes with the local public. We got him. We got one top lawyer also. And we've got an army general. And we have supporters. We have all these people because, the main point I forgot to tell you. The main point. Why these people joined me is because they feel that money is generated here. That family who's pretending to be the sole successor of the last Nizams, they don't live here. None of them live here. So they're living abroad. They're coming here. They're selling one property or the other. Selling it to a land grabber who's, they're selling their share, pretending they have the highest share, which they don't. But the land grabbers, they're convincing the land grabber by pretending they're the sole owners. and they're selling off their share, and that land grabber takes over. And then he fights off the rest of the family. The rest of the family now has to fight for that land. And that money is going out of the country because not one person after Mukarramja lives here. Every child of Mukarramja lives abroad. Okay, so where is the money going? That means whatever they're selling, that money is somehow being leaked out of India. There is a suspicion because we are not police to tell the police exactly what is happening. We can only say that this is going on, you find out the truth. So all these people are joined. Mr. Dinesh Reddy, he gave a speech also. I think on 14th of Jan of Feb last year, January. 12th of January last year, I had a press conference. So Mr. Dinesh Reddy said, we will not allow this money to go out of India. So India needs it. We are poor. It's our money, mostly ours. And even if it's not, belonging to the family, those people cannot take it out. And we will fight tooth and nail, whatever laws are available to us, we'll fight to stop that money from going. Mr. Dinesh Reddy gave a very good speech. And then my family thought, why are the only Hindu people there? What are you trying to do? You're taking over or what? So I said, no. I said, you have to be very, very grateful to these people because they are not beneficiaries. When they win something from the trust, automatically the whole family gets it. So you are the beneficiaries. These people are doing the hard work because the administrators have taken them because you people don't have the idea of how to fight in court or anything. So you're lucky. You should go and actually do dandam to these people. Being Hindu, they are helping all these Muslim families without any kind of benefit. Some small benefit they might get. If I benefit something, I'll pass on, right? But generally, they're not asked for anything.
They may get or they may not get.
I have to give them. I have to see that, something which comes out from the side or maybe my share, maybe I have to divide it or something. And there's a lot of land. If you really win, see one of the guys who comes to me, he's from the third Nizam's brother's children. Now, he's a AC mechanic. Okay. His family, they own 6,200 acres in Maharashtra. So he doesn't even have enough money to Xerox the papers. But I tried to do it through, Walk Hard Foundation. I know some friends who are the owners, the family which owns that Walk Hard in Bombay. I tried to, but they are very busy with the hospital thing and all that. No, they're big time people. They didn't really bother. So nothing happened. But I'm trying to, salvage it. But I should have told them, give maybe 10 crores to these people. They really need it. Even 1 crore is a lot for them. But they are only with 16 members, which is surprising. So, even 1-2 crores is enough because they are like riding around on motorcycles, which are like half the time they're broken.
Yes.
So but I didn't have the heart to tell them to pay only 100 crores for 6,500 acres, which are worth about 1 lakh crores. You get my point? The only problem is to get that, they have to fight. Fight meaning you have to encroachment, you have to move out and you can't control it because that's in Maharashtra, it's not our state. But I'm trying, now I'm getting better at understanding you have to let go. Let go meaning if if the property is worth 1 lakh crores and they're giving only 100, you have to take it sometimes because otherwise you don't get that much also. Because every day there's more encroachment, more happening, is getting later and later. So if it's too long, then you can't, take action. So that's slowly getting less emotional now and using my brain a little more. Because initially you think, no, how can you leave 6,000 acres of land and just take 100 crores? 100 crores is okay for maybe, 1 acre or something. But sometimes you have to do it.
Did you meet recent CM KCR?
KCR's son I was fairly friendly with. They're very busy people. And now this, I think Mr. Rohan Reddy and all that with the CM, they are friends of mine. So through them, through Renuka Chaudhary madam, she's also a good friend. We are connected. So I've not bothered.
Recently, have you met to CM Rehan Reddy?
I didn't meet him. I did not meet him, but I'll be meeting him anytime soon. So that's not difficult. If there's a reason, they're busy people. You can't just go and say, oh, hi, I was feeling bored, so I want to meet you. So there has to be a good thing. So you have to take something, give it a shape and go. I mean, even if I have lands, I have to, say, okay, this problem is there. Can you solve this? If you do this, maybe the government can take something instead of fighting over it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give off something to the government because the government will keep fighting till eternity. So government won't get, the people won't get. It belongs to the people. They can't fight because they're too poor to fight a strong government. But the government can't have it because it's not the government's. So if they both compromise, at least something can happen. But you have to first give it that shape to go and take up some time with Revanth Reddy and take it up. If you just land up and talk and, I mean, like we are talking right now, I think they don't have the time.
Yes.
They don't have the time at all. So I'm waiting for that to get things in shape.
Okay, right. Finally, what do you want to say to Telangana people? Finally.
To Telangana people, I'm just saying, see, we were always seen as Nizams, like some kind of outsider family. Though we lived here for some 230 years, in that 230 years also is 70 years ago. So now actually, It's the third centenary of the Nizam first establishing himself here.
Mm-hmm.
In 1712, the Nizam had come and he had gone off to UP. Then again, he found his way back here.
Okay.
In 2024, while coming here, he had a fight with one governor here, a Mughal governor called Mubaris. And the place where he fought was called Chakarkheda. After that, he settled here. That was 1724. Now, this is 2024. This is exactly 300 years since their establishment. So, everybody somehow feels they came from somewhere. So, I'm saying now that's all over. The Nizam dynasty thing itself from 1948 is over. 1971, we don't even have real titles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just the head of the family. I'm the, the Nizam of the family. I'm not your Nizam or anybody's Nizam. You have to get that very clear. So, I am now part of Hyderabad. And we are democratic now. I'm democratically chosen. India is a democratic country. We want to integrate ourselves with the remaining people. Absolutely integrate ourselves, like wherever, through vote, if we can make someone win, like the 4,000, 10,000 people on my side. If I can give somebody a vote who can benefit them, I have to plan it out. So by that vote, if they can get some benefit, get some better schooling or better something, some facilities, I have to fight for that with, the present situation. The present situation of the present government, you have to join them and see how best you can get a good deal for the family and be totally integrated with the rest of Hyderabad or rest of the culture or rest of the civilization. So we are seamless, though we are we might be Nizams, but we want to be part of it. So I'm the first step. I'm the first elected, you can say, first democratically elected Nizam. And I'm the first democratic Nizam who's saying all my family is equal. I'm the first Nizam who's saying I'm not special. I may be Nizam. So right now, one more message I want to sell, because I don't ride in a good car and all that, though I have all these properties and all. Okay, we are very that way. I've got a award for nature conservation. So I don't, sell it off to some builder and have some buildings there. So I try to conserve the rock formations and all. So I'm the first person who's been kind of, what do you call it, nominated by the family. And
Democratic Nizam.
So I'm the first democratic Nizam. That's what I'm saying. I drifted. The moment you say land and you say nature, my mind goes off somewhere else. So I'm the first democratic Nizam. And so that's a very different thing, because initially somebody wrote it also.
Yeah.
I think Divya, my friend, she wrote an article saying from the sword to a vote. Initially, the first Nizam children all fought about, imagine the first one, this grandson, the third one, the fourth one. 4 of them died. They died by the sword, all brothers.
Yeah.
This thing. The tradition was not moving downwards, it was going sideways. The first Nizams, like second son, then grandson, then third son, then fourth son. The first son actually died. Then the fifth did not die by the sword. All of them died, and the succession moved sideways, which is very unusual. People think it's father to son. It's not like that at all. So that is the thing. And now I want to say, okay, now it's come to voting.
Yeah.
Now the whole thing had dissolved in 1971. Now after the independence, though even 71 was after independence, but now they finally got their mind together to select someone by consensus, by the majority getting together. So I'm the first majority Nizam chosen by the public, because there's no king to choose anyone.
Yeah.
And even if there's a king, he has to be a powerful king. Like I told you, like Aurangzeb's father was not powerful. Yeah. He wanted his elder son Dara Shikoh. Aurangzeb killed Dara Shikoh. He became. So now there's no king. So the family's chosen me. I am the 9th Nizam of the Asif Jais dynasty now. And I'd like to call myself the democratic Nizam.
Okay, right. Thank you, Nizam, coming to our studio and giving the interview. Thank you.
Thank you.